Group 9 are going to be discussing racism in sport. According to Oxford Languages, racism can be defined as prejudice, discrimination, or antagonism by an individual, community, or institution against a person or people on the basis of their membership of a particular racial or ethnic group, typically one that is a minority or marginalised. The reason we chose this topic is because we had a keen interest in it. We are trying to raise awareness regarding racism in different sports around the world. It's still an ongoing issue in the world. We've all played sport where a racist incident has happened, and we feel that this could help people understand how poorly racism has been dealt with within the sport.
An example of racism in sport we studied was John Terry. In an instance in the game in 2011, John Terry used abusive and or insulting words towards Queen's Park Rangers defender Anton Ferdinand, which included a reference to colour and or race, contrary to FA Rule E3. On Friday, 27th of July, Chelsea captain John Terry was banned for 4 matches and fined 220 grand for racially abusing QPR defender Anton Ferdinand. These punishments were not strict enough for racial abuse and showed a bad example from the FA of how racism should be dealt with in sport, especially for the younger generation.
During a Premier League match in October 2011 between Liverpool Football Club and Man United Football Club, Luis Suarez and Patrice Evra had a racial confrontation. According to Patrice Evra, Suarez used a term multiple times. Suarez later admitted to using the word negro, but claimed it was a term commonly used in a friendly manner in his native country. He did not intend this as an insult. However, Suarez's wording was considered disrespectful and racially prejudiced in the English context. When both sides met again in the Premier League in February 2012, there was a very tense encounter between the two. Patrice Evra offered Suarez his hand in the pre-game handshake, but Suarez didn't shake his hand back. Luis Suarez was banned for 8 games in relation to the racial abuse controversy with Patrice Evra. This incident raised awareness of racism in English football and worldwide, and sparked conversations about anti-racism measures. Although both players went on to pursue their footballing careers, the episode endured in the public consciousness and continued to serve as a noteworthy illustration of the difficulties football faces when it comes to racial issues and player behaviour.
No Room for Racism is a campaign founded by the Premier League in March 2021 which aims to tackle racism in the Premier League. This action plan includes 6 commitments which include executive pathways, coaching pathways, player pathways, supporting communities, action against racism and embedding equality in the Premier League. We can see from the points shown on screen that since the No Room for Racism campaign has begun, a 3-year action plan update has been revealed, showing positive statistics that the action plan is in fact helping to prevent racism in the Premier League.
Done to combat racism. Anti-racism campaigns. Organisations like the Football Association of Ireland and Sport Ireland have launched campaigns to combat racism and promote inclusivity. Examples include initiatives like Show Racism the Red Card, which educates young people about racism. Introduce policy changes. Governing bodies have introduced stricter anti-racism policies, encouraging players and officials to report incidents and ensuring penalties are given to the offenders. Local clubs and associations have made efforts to engage with Ireland's increasingly diverse population to ensure sports are welcome and accessible to all. Efforts to combat racism. Education. Programs are being implemented to educate players, coaches and fans about the importance of diversity and the impact of racism. Visibility and representation. Increased representation of minority communities in leadership roles and on sports teams help to foster a more inclusive environment. Ireland's sporting bodies, governments and communities continue to work toward eradicating racism in sports, but sustained effort and vigilance are necessary to address this systematic issue comprehensively.